So hello and welcome. You're watching Revsportz. I'm Vaibhav Tripathi and with me is Debasis, and we are standing right now at the Nondescripts Cricket Club, the NCC. The Indian team has just finished their first practice session in Sri Lanka, and it was a long practice session. It started at 10 a.m. and it ended at around 1 p.m. And it had a lot of things. If you talk about the intensity, it was right there. Starting from the fielding sessions, obviously it was the warm-ups, and there was a hurdle talk in which Gautam Gambhir was very vocal, and can see the energy in which with he was speaking. And then afterwards there was some practice sessions, fielding drills. One you obviously new fielding coach Subhadeep Ghosh was there. He was overseeing the procedures of the fielding sessions. There was three different sets of fielding sessions that happened, and we'll talk in detail about all that and much more. What happened in the nets, practice nets? There were three practice nets where Indian team practiced today, and we'll go in depth of everything related to India's practice on day one here at the NCC. Devashish, first, what were the main talking points according to you of this practice
I
session?
mean, obviously, Vaibhav, if you ask me, the biggest takeaway for me was the discussion that happened with Gautam Gambhir and Captain Shubman Gill at the start. And you mentioned about the huddle. There were a clap at the start, obviously welcoming Akib Nabi in that test squad. He happens to be, he got a first opportunity to be part of the Indian senior side. So I think that clap was more about Akib Nabi and also the spinners who are traveling with as net bowlers on this trip. Obviously, talking about the second most key aspect of the training session has to be Devdutt Padikal. Because we all know Shai Sudarshan did not travel with the side, and there's an uncertainty lingering around him whether he's going to be available for that first test match in Gaul. But as far as the practice session is concerned, Devdutt Padikal was seen batting with Shubman Gill. So there is an indication. If suppose Sai Sudarshan misses out, then Devdutt Padikal might just get in. Obviously, the third key point was two pacers, Prashid Krishna and Mohammad Siraj. Those will be the two main space pacers, given that Gaul has predominantly favored the spin bowlers. So and I will leave it on you. You just take ahead as per the spin bowling combination system, because we have noted some good. We have noted something very interesting. Vaibhav, over to you.
The most notable thing for me for the from the practice session today was Yadav not bowling a single ball in the entire practice session. That started from 10 and lasted till 1 p.m. Not a single ball Kuldeep Yadav bowled. He was there. He did the fielding session. He was batting as well. He did a long batting session about 30 minutes or 35 minutes, but he didn't bowl a single ball, and that was surprising to me because if you look at the other bowlers, they bowled a lot, starting with Saransh Jain, Manav Sutar, Ravindra Jadeja, and then Shivang Kumar. Because Kuldeep Yadav was not bowling, of all the four net bowlers, only one bowler was bowling a lot, and that was Shivang Kumar. He bowled relentlessly, tirelessly for I think around 1 hour or 10 minutes. Something around that time, Shivang Kumar bowled a lot at the nets, be it to starting with Devdutt against Devdutt Padikal, then Rishabh Pant, Dhruv Jurel, Shubman Gill, of course, and then later on KL Rahul also came in with Yashasvi Jaiswal. So I think most notable point for me was Kuldeep Yadav not bowling a single over during the practice session. He's fit, he's batting, he's doing everything, but just didn't bowl. We'll have to see what happens in the next practice session whenever India plays practices here again. But yeah, when it comes to the spin bowling combination, I think both Manav Sutar and Saransh Jain bowled really well. Ravindra Jadeja, on occasions, he was a bit tad full than his usual length, what he generally does, operating more on the good length. He was bowling more full, but I think the of all the bowlers, standout was Saransh Jain. The way he was using the crease and the way he was creating the angles against the right-handers and left-handers, I think he looked the most impressive spinner of all. And the only time Shubman Gill was beaten by somebody was by Manav Sutar. Again, he was beaten in the flight. So Manav also looked really well, really good in the nets. So yeah, spinners. I think all the spinners looked really good. Apart from Ravindra Jadeja, obviously Ravindra Jadeja was a tactful to me, according to me, Devashish.
Yeah, but another key aspect, I would say that there was a particular I think one of the main batters, they asked for a left-arm fast bowler.
Yes.
And Morny Morkel then later he went on asking who among the
Siddhanshu
net
Ghosh.
bowlers was available as was there any left-arm fast bowlers? Clearly, homework is being done as far as Vishwa Fernando is concerned. So I think so. A lot overall the practice session. If you ask me, it was very I would say very systematic. Means obviously keeping ahead as to what lies in store with regard to the Sri Lankan bowlers, especially the spin bowlers. Obviously, Pravad Jayasuriya will be very key. So I think the key focus has been how to tackle the spinners. But there were as many as seven spinners in that one particular net, Vaibhav.
Yeah, obviously four Indian spinners, and there were some local spinners as well. And that was the most important part today of the practice session. Was there was a lot of bowling done by the Indian spinners, and of course the local spinners, and all of the premium batters, whether it was Shubman Gill, KL Rahul, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Rishabh Pant, Dhruv Jurel, all these first choice players, they had a long hit against the spinners, and then they took throwdowns and faced fast bowlers as well. But interestingly, like Debasis has already mentioned, that Mohammad Siraj and Prasidh Krishna started together in tandem. They started the bowling to KL Rahul and Yashasvi Jaiswal. After they were done, 40 minutes after they were done, then only Gurnur Brar and Akib Nabi, they started bowling, and majorly both of them bowled to Dhruv Jurel, Rishabh Pant, and then the lower middle order batters. So yes, that could be an indication, where Indian team is thinking. Debasis already said, obviously Mohammad Siraj in Jasprit Bumrah's absence will be the leader of the pace attack, but who will pair up with him? Whether it will be Prasidh Krishna, Gurnur Brar, or Akib Nabi, like Debasis said, it looks very difficult for Akib Nabi to make his test debut in Gaul. What we are gathering from here from the first practice session, still early days. Things will change obviously in the build up to the Gaul. But yes, another interesting point was Devashish Rishabh Pant not facing the new ball but playing the old ball. He from the nets he asked Akib Nabi and Gurnur Brar to take the old ball. He shouted at them that take the old ball and bowl at me. That was a different kind of preparation, but because of not a lot of batters batted against the old ball.
Yeah, absolutely, Vaibhav. And in fact, I was having a conversation with former Sri Lankan cricketer Hashan Tilakaratne, and I asked him categorically as to obviously we all know that Gaul has always favored the spinners, but he said that don't just count out reverse swing. So I think that might also be the reason that Rishabh asked both Akib Nabi and Gurnur Brar to bowl with the old ball, because he will be coming at number 5, 6. So I think that is also and obviously Subhadeep Ghosh, Vaibhav has already mentioned, he was seen working a lot. Obviously, he's replacing T. Dilip, who has worked with the team for the last 5 years. A lot of focus was on close catching, which will be very important, particularly slip catching and close catching. And Vaibhav, obviously, fielding will be one of the key aspect. And in recent past, India has not done well with regard to fielding.
Definitely, if you look at 1 year across formats since that England tour, India have on many occasions have dropped catches. A lot of catches have been dropped in multiple bilateral series, even in tournaments like Asia Cup, which has costed India dearly. And that's why the new fielding coach is there. There is a change in slip positioning as well. First slip Shubman Gill, then second slip KL Rahul, third slip we saw Yashasvi Jaiswal, who used to stand in gully region. If you remember the England tour, he was standing in the gully region, but here he was standing at the third slip. So it's change of position for Yashasvi as well. Dhruv Jurel was there at the gully, so that tells you something that this could be the likely slip cordon that you will see in the Gaul test as well. But yeah, apart from that, nothing else. I think we have discussed pretty much everything. It was again
And
very
no rains.
no rains. The good part about this gentleman, which he has mentioned, is that there has been no rain ever since we have arrived in Colombo. We didn't sight a sun for a single time. But today, ever since we woke up, we saw the sun, and it was a good sign for the Indian team. Otherwise, this ground has indoor facilities as well. So even if rain arrives in the coming days, they have an indoor facility, which is obviously a good thing in with regards to the preparation. So yes, whenever Indian team will come back here again for the next practice session, we will be here again to give you all the details and see what we are getting from here. So that was it from this practice session. You keep following Revsportz as we build up to the test series, the first test in Gaul. Thank you very much for watching.
For India's best multi-sports coverage, your platform is one, and that's Revsportz. So like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. I think by now you know that we will be everywhere in different parts of the world and bring you on-ground reportage. As I said, your best multi-sports coverage on Revsportz, your favorite destination.